One of the most overlooked features and most useful features in Facebook is the ability to create friends lists. And that lets you organize and group your friends into different lists to give you more control over who sees what. For example, you could send out an event invitation to just your family so that your coworkers don't get an invitation to your daughter's second birthday party or something. Or you could make it so that only wall posts are only visible by family or by friends and not by family, so on. So how do you do that? If you don't do anything with friends lists, then everything that you do has the same privacy settings for every single friend in total. Now, if you're going to be using Facebook for business marketing, even if you're going to mainly be using your pages to do your marketing, in your personal profile, you probably do want to set up a friends list. In fact, even if you weren't using it for business, I would still set up friends lists. Like, for example, I'm often asked to be a friend to somebody that I don't know that well, and it turns out because they uploaded their address book. One time I sent them an email, or they're on my newsletter subscription list. So it's okay with me if they want to be my friend, but I don't want them to have access to, say, all of my personal contact data that I'm perfectly okay with sharing with, say, my family. All right, so how do you set up a friends list? There are a couple different places. First of all, from this link in the news feed, at the bottom there's a link called Create New List. And this is on my homepage. Now, if you don't see Create New List, you might need to click a More link to view it. Or you could go to your friends list from your navigation bar on the top, choose All Friends, and then you'll see a big fat button that says Create New List. So just go ahead and click Create New List and enter a name. Like I might say, let's just start out with business. And then to add people to the business list, you can start typing their name, which would be kind of tedious, but you might want to do that. Or you can just click. This is going to show you all of your friends. Now, right now, we just have 3 friends, but I'll say Bob and James are business colleagues. So I'm selecting them both, and then I'll say Create List. And let's do another list. Now I'm going to click More, Create New List, and I'll call this one Close Friends. All right, so these are people who I basically want to give access to just about anything. So I'm going to say Trent is a close friend. And these two, by the way, are not actually friends. These are pages. So I don't need to assign them to any list because they can't see anything that I post anyway. So I'll say Create List. There's no limit to the number of lists that you can create. There is no minimum or maximum number of friends that can be on a list. And the same friend can be on more than one list. So if you have somebody who's a family member that you also want to be notified when you are sending out business information, you could add them to both business and personal. So as you can see that as you add lists, here's another cool feature is that they get added to the left of your homepage. So here is my main news feed with all of my friends' latest posts, including my own. But if I just want to see what my business friends have been posting, I could click business. And if I just want to see what my close friends or family have been posting, I have one that I create called limited access, where I don't need to label a person if they're a friend or family or whatever, but there are certain people that I want to keep as a friend, but I don't want them to have full access, so I just make a list called limited access. So if you haven't created friends lists already, I suggest that you do, and then you saw how easy it was to assign friends to lists. And now that your lists are set up, as you get incoming friend requests, like I see I have one right here, I'll click this friend request, and now I can see that Sherry Austin, I'm going to add her to the list of my business acquaintances. And if I wanted to add her to another list, I could do the same thing. So if she is both business and close friend, then she's in both. So I'm going to select that one just to remove her and just say she's just a business friend, and then I'll say confirm. Now your friends, by the way, have no clue what you're doing. They don't know if they're on a list. They don't know if they belong to more than one list. They don't know if they're getting everything that you're posting or not. So you don't have to worry about hurting anybody's feelings. And there is Sherry and her funny picture. And let me go back to my homepage. Now that I have these different lists set up, how do I make it so that some information is shared with only some people on a certain list? Well, I do that through the privacy settings, which you can see if you hover your cursor over the settings menu in the blue navigation bar at the top. And we'll look at these in detail in another video.